Today we're on our way to meet a businessman in the Dublin area. He's always an interesting person to talk to, and we'll hear a little of his story. Welcome to Cliffs of Hope. Today we're in Punchestown with well-known businessman Aubrey McCarthy, who's based in the Dublin and Kildare area. Aubrey, tell us a little bit about your background.
John, it's great to have you here. We're sitting in the Elms in Punchestown. This is my home place. I was born here in 1971. This used to be the stopover farm for my father, who was a cattle dealer from West Cork, and he'd be going to the market in Dublin, so the Elms was the stopover farm. Then we started in 1963 selling antiques and furniture, and over the years we've developed that.
Aubrey, we're here 8 years after Ireland's biggest economic crash. How did the recession affect you?
I think the Celtic tiger has turned the wisdom of investment on its head. And everything that was sound, everything that was advised by the banks, by the investment analysts, has all gone wrong. I changed tack in 2008. I lost my mother in the midst of the Celtic tiger, and I just go, oh, I started to invest in things which will make a difference. Now, what I mean by making a difference, I met people who actually were in trouble, okay? And I encouraged them to change their lives through different options, mostly people in addiction, people that were homeless. And I look back 7, 8 years later, and you have people that are back on track, people that have their lives changed. No money could reward you for that. So investment-wise, wow, it's a huge return. During the time, I was reading a book called Haggai in 2008, and it's in the Bible. I don't know where it is in the Bible, but it's in the Old Testament somewhere, and it's only 2 chapters. And in it, it talks about how the people of the Lord were investing in items to make their own houses lavish, and were neglecting that which was of God. And in hindsight, I look back and I say, wow, I've invested in things that are, going to rust, they're going to rot, they're going to be worth nothing, and yet I perhaps have neglected maybe following after the things of God. I'm not a religious person, I'm not a do-gooder, but I know without God I'm nothing. And I also know that the different things that I've invested in a number of years, they'll come to nothing. So it's only knowing that God is actually in control. He's in control the whole way through. And so when I see different people changing their lives through the charities that I'm involved in, that gives me tremendous hope. I was part founder of a rehab centre called Tiglin, which is in the Wicklow Mountains. It's surrounded by 3,000 acres of forestry, and it's a centre for people to try and get their lives back on track, mainly from addiction, alcoholism, life-controlling problems. One of my favourite charities is part of Tiglin, and that's called the No Books Cafe. This I drive every Thursday. It's a coach converted into a restaurant, and it's for people that are homeless. Okay, people that are in addiction. And I park on Thursday nights at the Spire in O'Connell Street. And what I love about it is because you're meeting people where they're at. Okay, the people that come on to you are in trouble. They need help. They don't want any preaching. They don't want any religion. They want to get out of the situation that they're in. So whatever you give them has to be real. I was at a wedding recently, and this guy had been in addiction for 14 years, okay? And we were all at the church. It's a church down the end of Gardner Street. I think it's called Trinity Church. And anyway, it's right beside the customs house. And during his wedding speech, he asked us all to stand up and look out the window, which we did. And there's an archway at the customs house just across the road. And he said, I want to just tell you, that's where I used to live for a period of my life. He lived there for a couple of years, on a cardboard box with a sleeping bag. I'm at this guy's wedding, married the most beautiful girl. How he got her, I don't know. But it was a sense of, wow, this guy's life has changed. Now, to be part of that, that is a huge honor and a privilege. And this guy now has a job that I would love to have, well-paid, state job. And he's admired as being an expert in his field. And I just think, well, he's the guy that was sleeping in the doorway. Now, come on, what sort of honour is that? God honours, and he's no man's debtor.
Aubrey, thanks so much for the interview. It's been brilliant.
It's been an absolute privilege. Thanks a lot.
See you next time on cliffsofhope.com.